Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is a briefing from www.central-mosque.com about the entertainment industry in Saudi Arabia and what are the implications of our people backing Saudi Arabia to the hilt. So, I know a lot of non-Muslims watch my videos and they send me emails and stuff asking questions. So, why are we bothered about a sovereign state? Saudi Arabia, of course, they would say, has a right to do whatever they want. It's a sovereign state. The reason for that is if you go around the world and you look at certain holy places. For example, you go to Palestine and you look at the Holy Church of Sepulchre. The sanctity of these holy places requires people to behave with dignity, with a certain amount of morality. So the two most holy places of Islam are in Saudi Arabia, and these things are happening right next door to them. So, and that is the reason why we're concerned, because we're concerned about the sanctity of our holy places. Let's begin. So I begin this event, which is a Bollywood mega event in Dammam. This is not close to any of the holy places of Islam, but I am telling you, I'm actually starting from one edge of the Saudi Arabia and I'm going to end up very, very close to the Haram. So this is a Bollywood mega event in Dammam. You can see that from the 3rd to the 6th of July, and it's happening in Dammam, which is east of Saudi Arabia. This is basically the area of Saudi Arabia which is rich in oil, and there's a lot of conflict going on between Shia and Sunni. Now here it is. So I'm not going to list all the events. There's so many of them. I'm just going to list some. Here's a comedy night of the comedy night of Abu Qada, and this is actually happening 11.3 kilometers, not miles, 11.3 kilometers from the mosque of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is just one event. There are many, many, many of this kind. Moving forward, this is what everybody is concerned about at the moment, the Jeddah World Fest. This is happening because Nicki Minaj and some of the other, if you want to call them entertainers, basically, are going to be coming to Jeddah, and they're going to be doing this event. Now, Jeddah is 48.77 kilometers miles from the most holy place of Islam. This is where this event is happening. Now, I don't know if many of you know about it. I don't want to put her pictures in my presentations and stuff, but the fact that this is only open to people 16 and above tells you what kind of an event this is going to be. Now, what the Saudis did recently in Jeddah is the 4th of July is the Independence Day of America. So what they actually did, they flew in a replica of the Statue of Liberty along a statue of Elvis Presley, and they basically had a Las Vegas welcome sign and all this kind of stuff, and they actually installed it on the Jeddah waterfront. This is Saudi Arabian news. This is Arab news from Saudi Arabia reporting this. Now, if you follow social media events like I do of different countries and stuff, many Saudis completely denied it. They said, no, I live in Jeddah, nothing like that is happening. It is absolutely false. So there are people on you watch YouTube and people are actually, taking selfies along these signs and stuff like that. So this was basically music concerts, all kinds of stuff for the Independent Day of America. They flew in replica statues of Elvis Presley and stuff and installed it on the waterfront of Jeddah. So I used to live there. So again, this is about 50 odd miles from the most holy place of Islam. I don't want to take much of your time. I'm not going to talk about, there's so many events. I've only picked a few, and this should actually make you realize the gravity of the situation. As far as we Muslims are concerned, when atrocities happen in Palestine and Kashmir and particularly or Afghanistan, and when children are involved, we always hear it from our mosques, and we rightly should. I mean, we should be outraged. In fact, in my opinion, we should be outraged on human rights abuses. Doesn't matter whether it's happening to Muslims or non-Muslims. If children are getting killed, doesn't matter. Children, we should be outraged. However, from our mosques, there's one country that you never ever hear about, except for a few mosques and few scholars and stuff. It's usually complete and utter deafening silence. One of them is Yemen. So there are categoric human rights abuses of Saudi forces and what they're doing in Yemen, yet you never hear about it. Now, in return, the Houthi rebels in Yemen are firing missiles into Saudi Arabia, and you definitely hear that from the mosque. You say, you know what, make dua for Haram, make dua for Haramain, missiles are being locked into Saudi Arabia. That is true. That should not happen, absolutely, and we should condemn it. However, you should see the background of this situation. This is one picture, whereas this school bus was bombed by Saudi Arabia, and there were 26 children and 4 teachers in this school bus right here. You never heard about this whatsoever. Moving forward, Jamal Khashoggi, the entire world media knows what happened. This guy was a Saudi citizen. This was the sister he wanted to marry. And basically, he went into the Saudi consulate in Turkey trying to get the necessary paperwork. I think he was trying to get his visa extended and a NOC letter, no objection certificate, to get this woman married. And you know what? He was hacked to death inside Saudi Arabia. There's ample evidence. Now, some of the brothers started defending that it's the non-Muslims who were saying no, it was Turkey. This happened in Turkey. Turkish intelligence, Turkish government, and the Muslims in Turkey said that this guy was hacked to death. You never heard that from your mosques whatsoever. This guy got hacked because he was trying to get permission to marry another Muslim woman. The biggest scandal of all is the moon sighting. So this has been inflicted in mosques up and down the West upon Western Muslims when Saudi Arabia makes no declarations for most Islamic months of the year. They follow the Ummul Qura calendar. So what we're being hoodwinked into is they say Saudi Arabia sights the moon in Ramadan, Shawwal, and Dhul Hijjah. Notice every debate, every Facebook page, post YouTube videos, and they continue to focus on Ramadan, Shawwal, and Dhul Hijjah moon sighting. With those three moon sightings are suspect in Saudi Arabia anyway. What they never mention is 9 months out of the year there is no moon sighting declaration from Saudi Arabia. So I'm making this video in Dhul Qa'dah. There was zero moon sighting declaration from Saudi Arabia. Yet there are many mosques in the West, in England, in America, in Australia, in Canada, in New Zealand, so on and so forth, which are inflicting the Saudi sighting on the Muslims, and the Muslims never know. They trust their imams, they trust their mosques that they're following moon sighting. They're not. They're actually following a predetermined Ummul Qura calendar. Now, why does all of this matter? Here's the next one why it matters. Because there could be a potential conflict in the Middle East with Iran. When that happens, the same our mosques, our communities, our imams, when they don't talk about any of the stuff that I just referenced, this conflict with Iran is going to be it's going to be spun and presented to you as a Shia Sunni concept. So because Saudi Arabia is Sunni, so automatically our sympathies and stuff like that are going to be with Saudi Arabia. Doesn't matter whether Saudi Arabia in this conflict is going to be right or wrong. It doesn't matter. The conflict is going to be framed as a Shia Sunni conflict. I was alive in the 1980s during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, and basically there was a Sunni revival in the world. Darul Ulooms in Pakistan, particularly me growing up in Pakistan, there was massive amounts of Darul Ulooms. The Darul Ulooms in Pakistan went from almost negligible to thousands overnight. And these people were sent to Afghanistan to fight in jihad and so on, because and there was blessings of America and Britain and so on. Today we are paying the price for this in view of terrorism. Okay, so if there's a conflict from Iran, because Saudi Arabia is always painted as the righteous nation. So remember, if in the future, if there's ever a conflict with Iran, instead of actually objectively analyzing this conflict, who's right, who's wrong, trying to avoid war, trying to avoid civilian casualties and stuff, this will be a Shia Sunni thing. So if you speak about against this conflict, if it ever happens, you will be branded as a Shia sympathizer, you will be branded as defending Shias, just like what is happening in Yemen. Watch this picture carefully. These are children who are killed, atrocities being committed in one of the most poorest regions of the world, yet our Islamic institutes, our mosques, our scholars are absolutely silent. This is happening right before our eyes. Okay, so these entertainment industries and stuff, people say, some people are actually justifying this. They say, you know what, this is not close to Masjid Nabawi. Brother, do a Google search. It's 11.3 kilometers from the Masjid of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then people talk about this Jeddah Music Fest. They said, you know what, it's not really in Makkah. Jeddah is in Miqat. What does Miqat mean? If you want to go for Umrah or Hajj from the West, from Europe, from England, from America, and so on and so forth, then if you land in Jeddah, you have to be in a state of Ihram. This is happening inside the area of Miqat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah protect us from spin. I'm simply letting you know. The next thing, coming down the line is either going to be a conflict with Iran or some kind of reconciliation with Israel. There are already diplomatic relations behind the scenes between Israel and Saudi Arabia. So those who care for the Palestinian issue, care for the Palestinian conflict, you will be confused because all of a sudden people will be defending, a solution which you've never heard of, and the people behind this will be Saudi Arabia. So once again, Saudi Arabia is a country which existed in 1926. The name Saudi Arabia came around in the 1926. However, the way Saudi Arabia spun, ideologically spun in the minds of the Muslim, you made to think that basically whatever the sovereign state of Saudi Arabia does somehow represents Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.